Hello, we thought we'd give you a quick introduction video into WordPress websites today. We build all our websites at the minute in WordPress. So if you're a new client, this is what the website will be delivered back to you in. And if you're a client that's just had their website go live, this is the screen that you will be seeing now that you're trying to log into your new website. So we will give you the login link, which should be your website. Normally so ours will be www.morganbranding.co.uk and then with a /wp-admin, so /wp-admin, and that will get you to this screen on your website. We will then send you a username and a password. Obviously on this website this is already in here, so ours is Morgan Branding with the password obviously hidden. You can set this up to remember this password or click remember me, so it always logs you back in. Obviously think about your own security on this when you're sharing this, or if you're sharing your PC with other people that you don't want to have access to this website, don't remember the password or click remember me. But if it's your PC that you're happy is secure and only you have access to, then for ease in getting in and out of the website quickly, it's probably not a bad idea to do remember me, especially when you were hoping to make quick changes. So click login, and that will bring you to this screen. Now what you will find is on the left hand side here, you will have different things depending on what your website has active. So on the left hand side here, there's a mixture of options and what we call plugins within within a WordPress website. So plugins are things within WordPress which kind of speeds things up. You could have a WordPress website with no plugins at all. However, if you have to write lots of lines of code from scratch where somebody's already made a plugin for the thing you're trying to do, it's often quite sensible just to use the plugin. So within here you've got stuff like Divi Overlays, Pop-Up Maker, Caldera Forms here that are all plugins. And if you've got a very basic website, what you will see is WP Engine, dashboard, posts, media, pages, comments and projects. You then also get appearance, plugins, users, tools, settings, and you will have Divi at the bottom there. So there is a variety of things that can be shown on here. However, a lot of these are kind of additional options that we may have discussed with you and added to your website, or if you do want to have a look at getting some other plugins in, just speak to us about what plugins may be useful for your site and we can have a look through them. So the first thing to do is at the top left here you'll see Morgan Branding, which is the name of our site, and then if you click on view site, what will happen is you will go to the first page of the website. So you'll go through to your site and be able to see it. If you click on that view site, if we go back, we then have posts. Now, posts is for stuff like blog posts. So here's the blog post that we've done on Morgan Branding. If you're looking at doing blogs and you want to add in a blog post, this is the place that you will do it. If you want to discuss with us about adding in blog posts about how you do that, please ask us and hopefully we'll either have a video on that for you or we'll be able to discuss that with you quickly. If you want us to post your blog posts, I know quite a few of you we've discussed that with already, please get in touch and we can have a chat about how that will work depending on what you're looking to achieve. In this page we've got media, so this is where you'll add in all stuff like photos and any documents you want to your websites, videos, all of it will be stored in here. Now when you're uploading these things to your website, you'll be able to do it within the website. However, you can put them in here first. So if you know you've got to add in 100 photos, you might want to just dump them into here rather than uploading each one of those individually. So this is Media Library. In here we have a plugin, you'll see at the bottom, called WP Smush. Now you may or may not have that on your website. This, what it does is it reduces the size of files. If you have a lot of files on your website, a lot of images, your website will slow down. So WP Smush is a plugin that reduces that file size. If you don't have it on your website and you're uploading lots of stuff like images, get in touch, ask us about it and we can talk you through it. Pages. Now this is the place where all the pages that are on your website will be held, and if you want to add any pages in, this will be the place that you do it. You can click add new at the top and add that in. If you want to know more about adding pages, again, speak to us. We like to try and talk people through so you can do everything on your website, especially the simpler stuffs within WordPress. It's worth getting to know how to do it rather than paying us to do something that you can do regularly yourself. We'd rather teach you, and then you can allow us to do the more complex things or get in touch with us if you have any problems. Don't be scared to play around with the website. It's your website. If you're hosted by us, which the vast majority of you are, or we have kind of pushed you in the direction of WP Engine. WP Engine are fantastic for doing daily backups. So if you are playing around on your website, say it's a Sunday evening, and you do something and you break it, then the worst case scenario is we restore your website to where you were on a Saturday. Now, if it's something like an e-commerce site and you have a lot of traffic going through your site and you don't want any downtime, it's probably best to only play around with stuff that you understand, and or reach out to us and have a chat and say, I'm thinking of doing this, before you play around with it, if you can't afford your website ever to be down. Most of the businesses that we work with at the minute could afford some downtime. You break something on a Sunday night, you can't get it fixed yourself, you get in touch with us on a Monday and we will be able to go in and fix it. Now, most things you can do, as you say, if you take baby steps and you understand what you're doing, you won't cause any damage to the website. A lot of the time, you can just reverse the steps you took to get you back to where you were. So if you add in a new page, it didn't work, you didn't like it, you can just delete that new page. You make changes on a page. As long as you remember what you added in or what you changed, you can go back and change that back. So in most situations when you're doing stuff, you can't have a massively damaging effect. With plugins, if you found plugins that you like, that we haven't added to your site or you haven't discussed, if you want to run the plugin by us, great. If you want to go ahead and install it yourself, again, fantastic, it's your website, dive in and do however you like. If it does break something, again, we can restore it and we can get your website up and running. If it's a quick and easy, simple fix, we'll just dive in and do that. If it's something a little bit more complicated, if you've been playing a little bit too much and broken a lot of things, there may be a charge involved with it to cover our hourly time of going back in and fixing that. So bear in mind when you are playing around that if you do break something, it's not just necessarily we're going to dive in and fix it for free. However, I know over the years of me playing around with my own websites before I actually built websites for other people, I would have saved a fortune in me learning new things rather than having to come back to us every time to make small changes on your website. And I know as a small or medium business, it's really important that you're not just kind of spending 35 quid here, 50 quid here, 100 quid here with us updating the website with things that you would be able to do yourself. So that's why we try and open this up to people. So pages here is where you would add in on a new page or edit a page that you've already got. Comments, this is where people may have commented on a blog post or an area of your site. Unless you've got a very interactive audience, you will rarely see many comments here that aren't spam. But it is worth checking back here every so often. If you put a blog post up that ends up getting some kind of virality and lots of people comment on it, it's worth getting them comments live because it does help the other readers that see maybe you've got 10, 15, 20, 100 comments, but you do want to be getting rid of the spam on there. So it's worth keeping an eye on this page. Then you will come into more stuff that you necessarily don't need to look in. So we've got appearance. One of the things that I would say to be very careful with in here is the theme. So this is the theme that's live on your website. Don't touch this, basically. So try not to mess around with this theme. We will have set it up. If you deactivate it or click a different theme, the whole website will go, basically. So probably best to avoid this area. Menus. So if you've added in a new page and you want to add it into your menu, this is where you do this. So you can select the page here. You could select Black Friday, click Add to Menu. This will bring it over here. And you'll see here you've got the main items and the sub items. So on this page, this would be a sub item and this would be a main item. Again, feel free to play around with that, add pages in. So we've got like Black Friday. So when Black Friday was there, we added this page in, and then we've removed it away from the website now when it's not as relevant. So feel free to play around with the menus, add stuff in, take it away. That's no problem at all. Plugins. So in this section, you'll see all the plugins that are on your site, and also if they need updating. A lot of the time, you can just click Update Now, and that message there that I cleared off said, do you want to back up? I, in general, just update the plugins. We will run updates on your plugins, but if you do want to update them yourself, I very rarely come across an issue with an updated plugin. The only time you tend to get issues is if it's a random plugin and they haven't updated when WordPress is updated, so that can cause you some issues. But in general, you don't get that many issues with plugin updates, I find, although it is the area that you will get an issue. If you are to get an issue with WordPress, it generally comes when updates happen. So, users. So, on this shows all the people that have access to your website. So you might have subscribers, you might have people that register for your website, they'll appear here, but you also have the logins to your website. So you might have one here for us as an administrator, and then for yourself as an administrator, you might also want your staff to have a separate login to you. We can arrange all that, and you might want to edit the roles that these people have and the access that they have to your website. So here you've got kind of SEO editor, SEO manager, subscriber, contributor, author, editor, administrator. All these things give different access rights to your website, and be very, very careful ever giving anyone administrator access, because they'll be able to delete you off the website. We can, from the back end, go in and change that, but it's probably best just to add people in as an editor if they're doing amendments to your website. Again, if you've got any questions, just come and ask us, and we'll try and help you out and guide you, especially if it's somebody that you've never done business with before. If it's a new person that's coming in to, say, do SEO changes to your website, first of all, that is something that we offer, so we'll be able to help you with that. If it is somebody or a friend or whoever that's coming to make any changes, just check that they're legit before you give access to your website, because obviously somebody could do something malicious to your website that you're not aware of. You've then got tools and settings. Again, in most of these things, you won't need to change anything within here. And then in Divi, this is some of the options that are on the theme. I would be reluctant to make changes in here until you know exactly what you're doing. So as a new user, really, you're coming in, you're going to click on posts or media or pages to make changes to your website. In order to make the changes, there's two different ways to do it. You can click on pages and click on the page that you want to edit, and you will see the page editor here once it loads. So this, on our website, comes under what we call the Divi Builder. You'll see the websites are made in blocks, and you'll see various different styles of this on your website. Search through for the section you're looking, and you can make changes within here. I have a preference to go to the site, however, and click Enable Visual Builder and make the changes within my site here. Now, again, with small and medium-sized businesses, this is making changes on the live site. If you have a website that is a lot more complex, you might want to send it into a production area first, so that you're not editing the live site. Most of our clients probably have no issue editing the live site. If they change something, we can change it back. However, if this is something a bit more complex and you don't know what you're doing, then please ask us for more information, and so you have a comfort level before you start making changes. You'll come into here and you'll see various things. So you'll see like a darker black balloon here and a faded black balloon there. This is for showing different things on mobile as opposed to desktop. Again, you've got two of the same sections here. You'll see on our website, some are showing on mobile, some are showing on desktop. Again, you can see two sections here. Once you get more familiar with the Divi Builder, you will see what's selected on mobile and what's selected on desktop. If you were coming in to make a change, say in this affordable text box here, maybe you wanted to change some of this wording, make sure you make it in the same box below. So some sections like this only have one one listing, and this is because this is optimized for mobile and for desktop. However, these sections here, some of these are used on solely mobile and some of them are solely desktop, just to make it look as good as it can. One of the things you'll notice here is in the background that balloon is moving, and on the mobile version here the balloon doesn't move. That's because on mobile that is called a parallax, and on mobile parallaxes don't work. They don't move as you scroll down the page in the same way that you'll see other parts of the website moving when you're on desktop. Now, if you ever see any issues on your website, either when we've given you your website in the first place, or you've made any changes and it doesn't look as good on mobile as it looks on desktop, or vice versa, get in touch. Especially if it was in the initial build, we'll change that, because it should be fully optimized for mobile and for desktop. If you've made some changes and you can't get it to look nice on mobile, it's very, very important that it looks good on mobile nowadays. Depending on the website that we build for you and who your target audience, I would be surprised if it was under 50% of your hits nowadays coming from mobile. We're recording this in December 2017. I think the average is around about 60% mobile hits nowadays. If you've got a target audience that's younger, you'll see that figure being a lot higher. It might be 80-90% of the people visiting on mobile. So it's worth making sure, if you make any edits on a desktop, to check them on your phone to make sure it looks right. Don't just use, there's a little tool here that shows you how it use on mobile and how it'll look. Don't just use that, because it doesn't always look quite the same. So always do check it actually on your phone. So that is a quick introduction into Divi. We'll do some more, but that should help you just get started to navigate around your website. If it is, you've never used WordPress before, start exploring, start looking at other YouTube videos. We will put out more content for you and ask questions, and we'll be able to help you. Cheers.